Athy Levis, representing the Commonwealth of Kentucky. Thank you, Madam Chair. You walk into your local grocery store. You select items, place them in your cart, and leisurely move on to the checkout. You likely think very little of what's just occurred. The scene is familiar to us. It's ubiquitous to the American lifestyle and seems rather commonplace. However, what's just occurred in the scene I described to you is an essential tenet of just American governance, and by overlooking it, one is denying oneself the most direct and explicit means by which to promote one's principles. It's not a vote, it's the power of purchase. Every time you make a purchase, you affirm an entire body of corporate practices. By buying a product, you provide information to the corporation from whom you purchased that their practices are acceptable and provide incentive for them to further their status quo. The power of the free market is more expedient and more direct than any vote. It keeps the consumer empowered and continually challenges companies to improve, contingent on the preferences of consumers indicated through this power of purchase. And the key to employing this essential power is information. If the consumer is misinformed by corporate secrecy and cover-up campaigns, their ability to make cognizant choices is lost. We must breach the iron curtain of secrecy, which separates the consumer and producer, and channel the market for what it was originally intended, a voice of the populace, an explicit demonstration of their grievances and their preferences. Our market should not be one of secrecy and misinformation, but an open exchange, where accountability flows as fluidly as do the goods being traded. Some skeptics of corporate accountability initiatives cite the potential negative economic effects. However, this proposal serves in no way to downsize the power nor the presence of the American corporation. In fact, this proposal will make American corporations better because it will challenge them and hold them accountable to better than they already are, lower prices and better quality, what the consumers want. This will enhance the view of American corporations in the global market, facilitating competition and advancement. This proposal empowers both the consumer and the producer to use information to their advantage. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for listening, and I look forward to debate. Thank you.
Context of the status quo. You see, the country of origin labeling law was passed at the end of the Bush administration. It was then reviewed by the Obama administration, which upheld the law and added, quote, USDA will closely monitor industrial compliance to determine whether additional rulemaking was necessary to provide consumers with information. The country of origin law states that food stores are required to inform consumers about the country of origin of fresh fruit, vegetables, seafood, peanuts, pecans, nuts, ginseng, and or ground beef and muscle cuts of beef, pork, lamb, chicken, and goat. U.S. tariff law requires that almost all imports must carry labels. Obamacare mandated that big restaurants post calorie data. Existing food labels such as the free-range, natural, organic, kosher, no hormones, or no antibiotics indicate the status of genetic information, of genetic modification rather. So what does this all mean? This means that the status quo is solving the problem. The only part of this proposal not covered by legislation already in existence is, quote, a numeric value indicating external environmental impact. What does that mean? Finally, if the proposal seeks to educate consumers about products, then what about the concept of buyer beware? With the internet in existence and technological advances existing, why would we need to educate consumers when information is so accessible? I cannot support this legislation because I have an issue of redundancy. You see, we must not only consider that a legislation already exists, let's consider that the time and cost incurred by printing the paper to post this legislation, debating the bill, when we have other problems to solve. You see, if we have problems that we need to solve in the United States, and we have regulatory commissions already in existence, such as U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission, USDA, or the FDA, how can we waste our time solving problems already that have been solved? We have so many things to occupy our times, and I do not support this legislation for those reasons. Thank you.
Mason Hill, representing Commonwealth of Kentucky. I would like to reserve my right to yield the remainder of my time to the author for her summation.
That is your right.
My fellow delegates, this proposal addresses an issue that is crucial to the long-term survival of our capitalist economic system. The thing that this proposal addresses is the constant struggles consumers must undergo to find the truth in an information age. I am not talking only about the decisions that people must have information to make good decisions at the ballot box, but also the other facets of our democracy that extend beyond our political institutions. In America, we have a right to choose. We have a right not only to choose who represents us, but we also have a right to choose how we spend our money. This is not something that is a universal right. Not all countries can you choose what products you purchase and the social and legal and environmental policies that those products represent. This is a precious right that must be protected. However, in order to have this right, consumers must have information. A candidate can't get away with lying. Why should corporations such as Starbucks, Monsanto get away with deceiving their voters, their consumers? In conclusion, in capitalism, the truth is essential. This proposal will allow consumers to make good choices that they are proud of, and for companies to benefit from the choices of consumers. This has happened in the past. Walmart, the great boogeyman of corporate America, has recognized this.
Thank you, Delegate. Time has elapsed.
William Levitt, DC Delegate, I reserve the right to yield the rest of
Please
my
display
time.
your placard. And that is your right.
I am in total opposition to this bill because, as the previous delegate stated, we have the right to choose what we buy, but we also have the right to inform ourselves, as the intense speaker already stated himself. Well, previous delegate stated in himself, we have the right to choose what we buy. We also have the right to inform ourselves on what we're eating and what we're purchasing with our money that we worked hard for. And I yield my time to the delegate from Minnesota.
Thank you. You yielded 1 minute, 30 seconds.
Thank you, Madam Chair and Speaker. In Minnesota, will the author yield to the question?
Will the author yield?
Yes. Could you please explain the purpose for you writing this proposal? The purpose for me writing this proposal is to create a system in which capitalism can thrive. Traditionally, capitalism is viewed as hurting the little guy, hurting the consumer. In the system I set up, both the consumer is empowered and the corporation is challenged to be better and better. Both parties are improved through this proposal, and both parties are able to communicate with each other better. I'm providing a facilitator to a better economy and a better America. Thank you. I yield my time.
Madam Chair, I would like to reserve the right to yield the remainder of my time to Clark from Texas.
That is your right.
Thank you. Let me be clear. An informed democracy depends on informed voters, and our capitalism functions exactly as a democracy, where your dollar vote in your wallet, or your dollar bill in your wallet is your vote. And so a successful capitalism must inherently and implicitly depend on an informed choice when you go to the supermarket, when you go anywhere to buy. We deserve the right to know whether or not you think that information is relevant to the choice you make. Other people may. I know I care about the environmental concerns that the companies are showing. More and more companies are claiming that they are environmentally friendly. I want to know which ones really are. And with that, I would like to yield Clark.
Thank you, delegates. Thank you, Madam Chair. Timmy Clark, Republic, Texas. I agree with everything the previous delegate has said. I also like to know that, yes, information is out there. Every company must admit to what their practices and how much internet modification, things like that. If you want to dig far enough in the internet, if you want to know exactly how Cisco raises its meat, then you can look that up. But I also would like a 1 to 10 number scale. When I walk into the grocery store, it says, oh, look, that's a 10. I'm not buying that. I'm going to go 3 and lower. Amen. And also, I think every company that has shady dealings on how they raise the food, how they produce their food, they deserve to be made known of their inhumane practices. And I just do not see how on earth a consumer, even if you want to choose to buy a 10, go for it. If a consumer sees a 3, I think they should buy the 3, and without even the remainder of my time.